good afternoon to you, and many thanks for being on the program. It's Security Focus, our weekly program. As usual, my name is Ifunanya Amafili, and today we'll be talking about security in the communities. We know security is a big unit, but in that wholesomeness, there are smaller units, and we're talking about community security. With us in the studio, we have the pleasure of having Honorable Dr. Sir Frank Anthony Iboka, first democratically elected chairman of Njikoka and also former House of Assembly member, 2003-2007, represented Njikoka local government. Njikoka 2 constituency. So many thanks, sir, for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Especially at short notice. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You're the PG of your community, which is the President General. Yes. And we know that sometimes when we talk about tackling crime, tackling criminality, and then ensuring security, it starts from a community before we can talk of the whole society in general. So in Nimo, what security apparatus do you have in place since you're representing the community?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be in this program. I want to thank the listeners and also the ABS for inviting me on this very particular critical issue and the time it requires a lot of security issues to be handled.
Yes.
Well, Nimo as a community stands the largest community in Njikoka local government with a very high population. Mm-hmm. And based on that, we carry our ways the way it is because of the population density of Nimo.
Okay.
One, we as Nimonians knows where it pinches us and knows what is being obtained in our town called Nimo, the kind of things we see, the kind of things we hear, and the kind of operations of the younger ones in Nimo and those that are visitors in Nimo. Based on that, we sat down and called on the vigilante services, which is the approved government security apparatus within the locality. Mm-hmm. And we reached a consensus to now put first surveillance on all corners of Nimo, including the boundary circulations of Nimo. And having done that, we started to know which one is so pressing and what are the actual crimes Nimo people commit so much.
Okay, which
especially
is good.
The people lives are in there and also our visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And we start to tackle that. You know, it's not everything you say about security.
No, absolutely. I mean,
because of its nature.
Yes, you can't give information to criminals, but people need to be aware also that the security measures also.
So we discovered that in every town you go, they talk about courtesan.
Yes.
Courtesan stands from there, and most of these people started their criminality activities from courtesan. From courtesan, they grew up and graduated to men. Armed robbers, and so on and so forth, snatching of phones and so on, different kinds of things, getting into raping as well, which are part of the crimes you find out in the society.
Uh-huh.
So we started to battle them. One, I came in as a PG some years ago. I'm going to my second tenure now.
Okay.
And I said, okay, let me crack down all the centers of all the cultist stations. I invited my security. I have to discuss with them because I came in to meet the old security men in that very particular field and discovered that they are a little bit old. They cannot run. They cannot keep vigilance.
So it wasn't efficient.
They cannot be able to. They weren't very much efficient.
Yeah.
And I decided to set up another group of this, and I decided to pay them from the purse of the Nimo Town Union and recruited more to increase their numbers.
Okay.
And these very particular boys, I gave them a specific job. The specific job, which I call them special squad. We gave them a name to frighten all these criminals. We gave them that name, special squad. And they move into operations to crack down all the centers of the cultist stations where they do their meetings and where they have their initiations and all that. With the help of the anti-cults, because there are some certain cases we cannot handle by ourselves, which has to go to the law enforcement agencies to handle. So when we get them apprehended, we hand over to the police to look into the whole thing and persecute them accordingly. So we continue to track them. We discovered that Sundays are usually by 9 o'clock is the time they go in for their meetings.
9 in the morning.
9 in the morning, very early in the morning, when many people might have gone to churches.
Yes.
So they start their meetings and the initiations. So we decided to track them down that way, fish them out, pursue them, chase them, and capture so many of them. We also capture some younger ladies as well. You find out that they are part of the cult.
So it's not just something that is just men that are doing.
So when we get them, we try to investigate them first and foremost for them to tell us exactly what pushed them into that and how they get into that kind of activity and what pushes them to be involved in such a thing, especially the boys and the young ladies. So from there, we now know the activities and how it starts, how they go to the younger schools, the primary schools, secondary schools, and the higher institutions to get them. But one thing they can never tell you is who is sponsoring them, who is their godfather.
So they have that oath of alliance.
Yes.
I think that's what most people complain, that because these young people don't come out to actually say it's Mr. A or Mrs. B that is sponsoring us, then that's why cultism is thriving in communities. And I found out we've had the OC in charge of anti-cultism activities also on this program. And from his information, I found out that it's not only for university students, because initially the perception most people had was that it was only university students, but you said the younger ones. Does it mean that even people in secondary schools and people that are not in institutions like universities, maybe the vulcanizer, the keke man, they're also joining this cult activity?
Definitely they are part of the activities of that cultism, because what gives them the impetus of getting in to join is that they feel like they are in charge.
Okay.
When they put them into that very thing, they tell them they have people to defend them, people backing them. In actual sense, why they cannot be able to say who is their godfather is that from the beginning, if you catch them, they will tell you who initiated them, they will tell you who introduced them, and they will tell you who is their own boss, at that very camp, because they run themselves.
Oh, they have the hierarchy.
They have hierarchies, how they run it. Okay. And they will only stop you at that. That hierarchy, when
but they will tell you the godfather.
Yes, when you get to the hierarchy where the person who is in charge, that person in charge will never tell you who is the overall boss. That's the problem.
I must commend you, because you have, that's why we talk about community policing, because we say if you don't know what's going on in your community, you can't really know what's going on in your society. Yes. I'm happy that you pointed out that it's Sundays by 9 o'clock.
Sure.
So there's a psychology behind it. It means that you're working. So you know that, okay, your intelligence information has shown that when every other person is in their place of worship, the roads are freer, clearer. Those that are not in church are at home resting. Then those people carry out activities. So it takes a lot of intelligence to do that. The Special Squad Force, how effective has it been since you initiated it?
Yes, because they have gone into serious surveillance and investigations.
Okay.
So many things they discovered. It's not only talking about cultism. You see, these boys are very highly educated in terms of their operations.
Okay.
They educate them very well. They educate them very well because there is somebody who stands as the first front person, who goes about with a bike, going along the roads, all the entrances of where they are, to give them information.
Okay.
Once they receive any signal from that person, everybody disappears.
Okay.
So you have to beat that person in order for you to be able to get them at their center.
So it's plenty intelligence.
So
intelligence
that's
for the
intelligent network. You need it.
Intelligence for
you need
trying to get them
very well to get them
inside.
Yes.
Okay.
So with my vigilante, I educated them. I trained them, haven't been trained by the military.
You have military training.
Yes, I have military training.
So you're going to tell us about that.
So I need to go in there, educate them very well, intelligently, on what they should do. When I was in the House of Assembly, I was also chairman police affairs in Anambra State. So I have all that it takes to be able to do this kind of network investigations and all that. So when we got that, we now track them down. First, we monitor their information officer, who has a rank as well. Once we catch him, information will not get to the base.
Okay, I understand.
Yes.
So you stop the information from getting
the information will not get them.
Okay.
They will not get the information because he will be the first person to track.
Okay.
When we track him and get him down, get him arrested, disarm him from his phone communication, then the people will no longer be getting his information.
So they don't know what your strategy
now
is.
We position ourselves and get them arrested. When we get them arrested, we hand over to the police. The police will now carry on with their distance. But we always have a problem at that very particular point.
What is
After police have done their good job, investigate them, and take them to the court, at the end of the day, you'll find the person back home again.
Why? Because I know that in December, the police had, the PPRO had announced that they had arrested over 180-something people for cultism in activities all over Anambra. And like you said, gradually, of course, the next thing after arrest is you prosecute them, you send them to court, they get their bills or whatever they do. One, cultism has never reduced in Nigeria. It's only controlled, or you chase them out of a location. For example, what you're doing in Nimo. So you can basically say, okay, you know what, we're chasing you out of Nimo. Go to another community, but we don't want you here. But we've not been able to curb it. So why do you think that when the police does all the good work, the community has done all the good work, then they get to court and then you see them back? What do you think the problem is?
Yeah, because one is put or the other will come in. Because in terms of courtesan, you see, there is a law need to be guided by courtist people. I don't actually know because I'm not a lawyer. It's only the lawyers that can interpret the law that guides them and the crimes they commit, what's supposed to be their charges in terms of that. But getting to the place, the magistrates will tell you, well, he has stayed for more than 2 days. He has stayed for more than 24 hours. Let's give him a bail. He continues to fight. So
it's a bailable offense.
So it shows that it's a bailable offense. And they hardly find out that nobody have ever been persecuted and jailed in respect of courtesan. So because of that, they find it as, I just go, you come back, their godfather is there.
So we say it's because of the godfatherism.
Yes, I so much believe that because somebody is there behind them fighting. And when you fight them so much, the next thing is they will start now to target you. You will be their next target. And they operate with arms as
so where
well.
do they get these arms from?
We have been getting them with arms. We hand over the arms. At the end of the day, surprisingly, there was one we caught some time ago. At a stage, we couldn't find the arms again, which was already being handed over to the police. And the next thing they tell us, nobody sees the arms again. Where is the arm we got from these people? One, we pursued one. He dropped his arms and ran away. We picked the arms, handed over to the police. Police collected. Nothing done today. You don't hear anything. It weakens the local vigilantes.
Yes, it does.
Because the local vigilantes has a limit powers to handle cases like that. They don't handle such cases.
Of course, their own is just arrest and then hand over. They can't persecute.
They can't persecute. So it weakens them because it makes them also to be afraid. When you get somebody today, you become his enemy. The next thing, you will be the next target. One of my vigilantes have been fired by these boys. They wounded him. We took him to the hospital.
So
the other one again have been macheted and they break his head. And we took him to the hospital as well. So many things.
So how do you protect the vigilantes, the special corps? Because they're basically protecting the whole community.
Yes. So
how does the community also protect them? Like you said, one has been macheted before, another one was shot. I would be afraid if I was in the community to come out to volunteer to be a vigilante.
Yes. Well, you can see it's good. You have to be a bold man to go to war. If you are not bold, then you cannot be able to make it.
Okay.
You have to be bold. Nobody tells you. Like me, like I said, my motto is you to nothing. I don't fear anything myself. Haven't gotten that training. I joined myself too. I go on night guides as well.
Tell us about your military training. I think maybe that's what's giving you your boldness. Because if people don't have military training,
that will be a long one. Well,
were you in the military?
I did join. Okay. And my guardian was the former military governor of the state, the old Anambra state.
Okay.
Yes, Colonel Robert Nemeka Konobi, whom I lived throughout during the war. He taught me almost everything any person can teach a soldier.
Oh, okay.
When you go to the front, how we escape the bullets, how the bullets will be coming on, how we have to crew on the ground before we get to where we can stand up. When the thing becomes so tough, what you will do before you find your way out of the place. All these trainings became a very part of me. For me now to be able to keep myself vigilant and get myself ready at any combat. And also I was in sports. I did judo and wrestling. It gives me a lot of courage as well.
Okay.
That was why when I was kidnapped by armed robbers, and I find my way out by taking away their AK-47 and finished them.
How did you do
that?
Yes,
single-handedly by 8 men.
So you were kidnapped and then you escaped?
I was kidnapped and bundled inside a vehicle, and I find my way out of the place.
On
my own, because I have to apply all the techniques I know.
Oh, that's
both in the military and in the judo, in the sports activities.
Yes. So
I was the first ever, if I say, let me put it down, in Anambra, who have captured kidnappers, gotten their AK-47 along with them, and find myself safe there. It was all over the paper. The commissioner of police then gave me a lot of kudos. And today the arm is with the police. The numbers of this thing, it became a battle between the police and the army. Who owns the gun? The AK-47.
Yes.
And up to today, no answer, nothing. Nobody have given any results of that finding.
Of where those ammunition came from in the first place.
Yes.
I think Nibo should be very lucky to have you as their PG, because for someone who can wrestle himself out of armed robbers, you're a wrestler and, sports orientated, and now putting the special. Do you have trainings for them? The special squad, for, like how the police have, regular training. Other security agencies have regular training. Do they have a formal kind of training where they gather and they're taught combat, what's the right word?
Yes.
Combat
the leader of my team, the leader of the chairman of the Vigilante Services in Nemo, is a retired assistant superintendent of police.
Okay.
Who has been a DPO in a place.
Okay.
So he gives them training.
Okay.
Most of the people there, I see many of the Nemo people most of them are policemen. Some of them who are also part of the people that trains them are ex-military men. So they give them a lot of training. So they bring that they groom them up. They groom them up and all that. So right now when you get into my community, you can't find cultists in any longer. They troop in from different neighboring towns, operate and go.
And then go back.
And we still push them. We don't have access to our the neighboring places because we have area of jurisdiction.
Do you have synergy with other, this is a beautiful idea, what you've done in your community.
Yes.
Setting up the squad, the special squad force, getting retired
superintendent of police
personnel involved in training them.
Police,
What's the synergy with other PGs in other neighboring communities? Have they reached out to you, or have you gone out to them to say, look, this has worked and it's working and we should try and make it stronger security for that region?
Because so many PGs have come, I'm not trying to discredit them.
Absolutely.
They have we have been having President General. I'm the 9th President General of Nemo Town Development Union, and the youngest among all of them.
Okay.
And my own idea about being a President General of a town is that you must have to live in that community.
You can't govern from afar.
You can't be coming from Enugu, coming from Lagos, coming from wherever you stay to come and become the President General of the town. You have to live there and see where it pitches your people.
Yes.
Be nice if you are called upon, you wake up and give directives. Afternoon, you are giving right now, today, that I'm here, I'm holding a lot of meetings in Nemo. There people are giving their complaints, whatever, overnight cases. But I left it. I asked them to wait. Let me go for this program. So this is what it's supposed to be. It's only my tenure that regular offices are maintained. Youth corps are employed. Different kinds of things. I have to increase the working strength of that town union and run it round to be able to pay them and see that everybody is highly maintained. Regular salaries, we pay them very well. We have corpers who maintains our computer services and every other thing there, network systems. The other time people come home to pay their dues and all that. Now we have to go to networking You can stay anywhere in the whole
and
world
then send your dues back to the community.
So nobody asks you for anything any longer. When you pay, you receive the receipt from there. Like you go to ATM.
Yes.
Use ATM, use your phone.
So they can do their payments
online.
So they can do
that. So all these things comes in. You need to put things in place. Put things in place so that you can be able to carry the workforce of the town union. Increase the security apparatus of the town and get a very good vehicle for them to make the move. But day and night. We have gazettes, communication gazettes, which we keep. Every section of the town is radioed. So you can pick up if there is an emergency.
So from anywhere, you can always call. And
you can call, everybody will match in there. If there is a serious emergency, myself from my own base can raise an alarm. Every section assembles there immediately to that very particular place and crack down whatever that is happening there. So that's why my vigilante is quite different, highly trained. These are the kind of people you can put in the police and they will do wonders. They have done wonders. Nobody in Nemo can commit any crime and get free like that. We just received last incidents and people are now being pursued. Some of them have left the place in order to be there, but we are still tracking down. Sooner or later now we apprehend them and hand them over to the police.
Politics starts in 16 days' time.
Yes.
And there's this, not speculation, it's been seen during different types of politics, whether it's presidential, gubernatorial, or in the assembly, that these young people, sometimes people from the cultism background, are people that they use to create havoc, to create anarchy, to create confusion during politics. Has Nebo taken this into consideration, that during this politics we're also going to ensure, one, the people staying around are safe? People that go to polling units, because sometimes people, when I talk to people, some people say, I've never voted. I said, why? They say, because I feel if I go there, there's going to be rancor, I might be. So have you thought of this in terms of security during this period?
Well, you can see during the period of elections, they disarm all the security apparatus, especially the vigilantes in all the whole country.
Okay.
And they become powerless. They can only operate their hands. But no politician can use anybody called Nemo person.
Okay.
Any pneumonia to run any election as a talk and all that. Once they know that the President General is there, like myself, I don't take nonsense, because you can finish your operation at the end of the day. We apprehend you and tell you did this and that.
Okay.
Because we know ourselves.
Okay.
We know whoever that comes in there.
Okay.
And all that. And if you come in there as a thug in trying to disrupt the election in my town, then we will handle you. We have people, young men that can handle that. Our vigilantes, like I told you, are young men that are very powerful, very strong. They can do the combat, they can do the distance physically, and be able to handle the situation. Helping the police, because the police will also be there, because even the police are disarmed as well. They don't go to the... But
I understand the security reasons of not arming anybody, because you don't want it to be abused.
Yes.
But at the same time, for every side of the coin, there are always two sides. So disarming them also makes them powerless to stop anybody else trying to create havoc. So as someone with a military background, police exposure, you were as former chairman of the Police Affairs Committee, is there so much wisdom in disarming security personnel?
There is a lot. The problem is that our policemen are not properly trained the way they're supposed to be.
Okay.
If myself as a civilian can disarm people with AK-47 and took the AK-47 and finish them off, it shows that there are so many ways you can handle
without using arms.
Yes, that you can disarm an armed person. Before, in the 50s, policemen don't go about with arms. They had the baton. The baton is a lot of good weapon. Overseas, you will see policemen having their batons beside them.
Yes.
Because with that baton, you can do a lot of things. It's as well as strong as
that kind of training.
Yes. If somebody is already playing with you with a gun and trying to run away without, when you throw the baton, you change his leg. He falls down.
Okay.
And when somebody is falling down with a gun, the gun will fall off his hand.
Yes.
You can bounce on the person very easily.
Okay.
You can as well use that button to quench wage crowds. You can use the baton as well to do a lot of things, as well as self-defense and all that. So they need to train people, especially the vigilantes, with that kind of batons. The vigilante is supposed to go about with batons as well to support whatever they are holding.
And they do
as
go
well.
around.
And do very, very well.
They would have those batons.
Yes, they don't have anything wrong. The police will be, they are much interested in maybe, we don't want to, a clash of interest. Interest in the sense that this person is my friend, I know their family, or he has somebody who has money and all that. So it ends up there. But the kind of vigilantes I have, special squad I have in Nemo, we don't have that time.
The program is security focused, and we've been talking to the President General of NIMO, Dr. Sir Frank Anthony Iboka. So do you have any training that you can offer other states, other local governments, other communities, and say, look, this is how we can collectively start ensuring our states are safe if we do it within the community? I think I summarized everybody's questions.
Well, thank you very much, the moderator. I just have to tell you, I thank all the callers. And the first caller said too many courtesans in the villages and all that, which we have said already. We have noticed that there are too many courtesans in all the villages, especially starting from primary school to the tertiary institution. And it's quite unfortunate. That is well taken, and we know they are there. And the issue is how to combat them. I will come to that later. The on-watcher from Nemo thanked me, encouraged me to carry on with the good work. He's an eyewitness to what we are doing, and I so much believe he knows what we are talking about and how we have been battling on that very issue. One from Oka also said the same thing. How can this courtesan that they don't sleep again, they don't do that? I want to seize this opportunity to thank the governor of Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano, who have encouraged us so much and backed all the vigilantes in Anambra State to carry on with this kind of community policing to see that these things, and also the Commissioner of Police of Anambra State, who have been very friendly to all the communities.
Okay.
You will only blame yourself if you don't fight the crime in your community, because the police commissioner is always there. The governor and his men are always there to support every town union. And he pays all these vigilantes, some of these vigilantes. Each community has about 20 vigilantes the governor sponsors every month.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Pay them that.
Yes.
So we give him kudos for that. The only issue is that are those vigilantes working? Are they doing the services they're supposed to do? Some of them are in the house. Some of them are no longer in the system. Some of them are no longer doing vigilante services. They just receive the salary alert every month and go get away with it. People need to work for what they are being paid for. That is that. In terms of freeing the courtists in the court, I think the governor has to sit with the judicial commission, the judicial apparatus in Anambra State, and see what they can be doing, because nobody have ever been severely punished for courtesan activities. If they have been punished and somebody have gone to jail seriously about that, or many of them have gone to jail seriously about that, others will be afraid and know that if this thing happens to you, if they catch you, you can get into this kind of problems. It will start to checkmate what is happening here about courtesan. The only issue is that no serious punishment, no severe punishment.
So maybe that's the problem.
That's the problem.
So I'm going to ask you to summarize in 1 minute.
Yes,
we're running out of time.
In that very particular place.
Yes.
Well, we have different kinds of courtesans. Some of them said he hasn't seen the Vacanese, the Balkanese, the Ahes, and so on. And baby Vikings and all that. These are involved in the ladies as well. It involves also raping, because they have to rape you. 5 people have to go after one young girl for them to initiate the girl.
Oh, that's part of their initiation.
That's part of their initiation. Very
Unfortunately,
bad.
I think I'm going to have to invite you at a time that is convenient for you.
So for me, I have already said that I've already called, tried to call the other communities around Nimo for us to have a meeting with the President General. Both of us will sit and they'll be able to know how to check our places, because when you chase any cultist in Nimo, the next thing you do is to run into Abagana or run into Enugu or run into Abacha and all that. So I have already told some days ago, I've called the PG of Enugu that we are going to have a meeting in order for us to have a model,
have a synergy that you can work with.
How to battle these people.
Okay. Remember that security is a collective effort. It's not something that only government can do. We all have to get involved and ensure that wherever we're staying remains safe for us to stay there. So join us next week on this program, and then we'll talk of one security issue or topic that will be relevant for you. My name is Ifunaya Amafili. Do have a pleasant day.